All right, everybody, we are back for a Big Hunt Guys podcast. Before we dive deep into our topic of discussion today, which we're going to talk about gear and gearless. We're going to go gear heavy. Brady just did a big gear dump for his November rifle deer hunt quests. Neville and I are just off of elk hunt, so we've got a lot of hunting in already, so we're just going to talk some gear. But before we even get started, we're going to give you a heads up on a promo that we've got running right now. If you guys want to use the promo podcast, that's just that word podcast, and you want to sign up for a Go Hunt Insider account, we're going to give you 50 points to the Go Hunt Gear Shop. 50 points is $50. You can then use that towards the purchase of any equipment that you want. Still a lot of hunting to be done. You know, gift season's coming up.
Hell, it is.
You know, Black Friday and all that. But yeah, I mean, you're just going to have those points. You're going to bank them. You can build them up, but you can use those towards the purchase of anything you want in the gear shop. That insider research account, I mean, you guys thinking about next season already? Isn't that crazy? You get off a hunt, I'm already starting to look. I was looking at draw odds yesterday.
I looked at some last night.
Yep.
Starting to plan, prepare.
Starting to plan. Yeah, in Idaho, I mean, their over-the-counter stuff goes on sale December 1st. So all that's just right around the corner. So now, it might seem early, but now's a great time to, capitalize on research, use your insider platform, draw odds, harvest statistics, application strategy articles. You also get GOHUNT maps, get points back on your purchases in the shop. So like I said, use that promo code podcast, get 50 points to the GOHUNT Gear Shop, or you can sign up simply just for the GOHUNT maps portion of our platform. That membership's called Explorer. If you sign up for that, use the promo code podcast, you're going to get 20 points back to the GOHUNT Gear Shop. So, whether you need maps or, in my mind, it makes sense, just sign up for Insider.
Get the full package.
Yeah, I mean, it's $149 a year. We're going to give you 50 points back if you use our promo code. And, I mean, you're going to get the full suite. You're going to get points back on purchases. You're going to get research. You're going to get maps. You'll get the whole thing.
Yeah, it's good too to jump on it right now and utilize the point tracker, because we all have points we've bought or didn't draw tags, and now it's time to update point tracker. And
I was just looking at it yesterday. I mean, today's the deadline, right? We were just talking about that, to buy points, bonus points in Montana. Yep. So if you're listening to this, you're too late. But
you're done for.
Egg on your face.
Yeah. Loser. We got Wyoming though. That's the
31st of October.
Yep.
But yeah, I mean, point tracker's awesome.
Mm-hmm. And then it works seamlessly with filtering 2.0 and draw. So everything entered there. You don't have to enter it anywhere else on the website. Just enter your points, track them, see all the states, see all your points. Plan for next year right now.
Yeah.
Use promo code podcast.
Do it.
Sign up for a Go Hunt membership.
Be a smart
person. And we're going to give you some dollar bills back in your pocket.
Mm-hmm. So with that, we got that out of the way. Let's talk about gear.
Gear. Brady just did a super in-depth.
How long was that,
late
Brady?
Season, 1 hour long.
A little over an hour, yeah.
It's on our YouTube channel. All of our gear lists are on our YouTube channel. If you go there, you'll see, go to our main page on our YouTube channel, scroll down, we have a YouTube playlist, gear list.
Mm-hmm.
That has all the gear lists that we've ever done. We have a variety of options from late season, early season,
different weapons, rifle.
Yep. Truck hunting, base camp hunting, backcountry hunting. Check that out on YouTube. Subscribe to our YouTube channel as well.
We're super close.
We're almost to 100,000.
Yeah, what are we, 1,000 off?
1,000 away.
1,000 away.
Are you still saving your subscribe?
I might have to. That's going to be the one that puts us over the edge.
The one. What pieces of gear, Brady, are brand new for you this year?
Oh, buddy.
Any gear? You got any new gear?
I think you always have to just test some things out.
What was the area that you wanted to fix, or you had an idea you wanted to change?
The biggest area was probably my sleep system. So these are all my hunts right now are late season hunts. So it's really important to have a shelter and a stove. And what I had before totally worked, but it was a little on the heavy side because I had a Cimarron, just the normal Cimarron.
Mm-hmm.
And I had I believe I had a large titanium stove. And when I've talked about it before, I use the large stove a lot, prefer it with medium because I can break sticks with my foot a lot of times. That just fits in there easier. Yeah, I do have a saw as well, but I'm trying to save a little bit of effort. So the large was always great. But going some of these steep, deep, and nasty places, I realize I can cut out some ounces pretty easy here. Yeah, I could shoot a lighter rifle, and that would save a lot more
You
ounces,
could?
a lot easier.
No, you couldn't.
I know, I really can't, like, it just doesn't work for
So
me.
going into this season, your mindset was like, all right, I can find some places where I can cut some weight.
Yep, cut some weight easy without having to sacrifice other areas. So I switched over, and I'm now running the Seek Outside Cimarron Dyneema.
Mm-hmm.
So that's going to save me some weight there.
Is it? Well, how many people is the Cimarron?
It's like 2 people with the stove.
2. That's what they say. 2
Yeah.
person.
Two in a stove, 3, maybe 4 if you're storing your gear outside.
Yep. And I can't remember exactly what my weight savings are. I have to double check on that little Excel sheet. I'm actually publishing the article today with all that information on it. Should have referenced that before we jumped on the podcast. But it is a big weight saving running Dyneema. And I think Dyneema is just a great thing. If I can have Dyneema products, like even some of my dry sacks back in the day were Dyneema, but now I really don't use a lot of dry sacks. So I just want to cut weight there. And then also when I said the stove, so I went with a Seek Outside medium U-turn stove. So I got a little smaller stove as well. And then the stovepipe's going to be a little smaller, so I'm saving a little bit of weight there too. It's a little less diameter.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah.
The
I guess that
U-turn
makes
has a
sense.
different
different
diameter.
You're giving up something though, right? Going from a large to a medium.
Yeah, we'll have to stoke it a lot more, and can't fit as big of sticks in there.
Doesn't worry you at all.
Not a whole lot. I mean, I used we went bear hunting this year with Lampers. He had the U-turn, the medium.
Mm-hmm.
That's kind of how I started loving it a little bit more. Yeah, we were using it the whole time. We got a bunch of snow on our spring bear hunt, and we really didn't have many issues with it. Yeah, we had to stoke it a little bit more, but it's not too bad.
What degree sleeping bag are you using?
Still that 30 degree.
You're doing a 30 degree.
No, sorry, 15.
I was going to say,
sorry.
like, you're going to be cold as hell.
No, I'm doing the same 15 chill coot. 15.
I'm like, you are going lightweight.
You did have something in your sleep system I wanted to ask you about as I watched your video.
Sleep pad?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
What?
Is it still that same piece of shit that he always sleeps on?
The Uberlite. That's the short one, I said. So, I mean, traditionally, people, you want to get a somewhat insulated, a high R value for a late season hunt. Mm-hmm. And for those of you that aren't aware, essentially what it does is an R value. Did you guys know this? Did you know what R stands for?
What?
Resist, right? So it's the resistance of your body heat loss,
okay.
Right? So if you have a insulated pad, it's going to resist your body losing heat to the ground, right? Mm-hmm. So you're going with an Uberlite, which is a Therm-A-Rest sleeping pad. It does not have the highest R value.
It's decent though.
It's average.
Yeah.
It's decent, but I would think most people would say that's probably like a 2-season sleeping pad. Yeah. Maybe summer into early fall. Why your decision to use that sleeping pad versus like a X-Therm, which is a very high R value, which is going to insulate better?
Why do I want to sleep like I'm in a 5-star hotel?
I don't know. I've never stayed in one, but it sounds sick.
I mean, the whole thought process is I have extra clothes with me at all times.
Okay.
I have layers. I have a heavyweight hoodie. I have a core lightweight
hoodie.
You're
like Shrek? You have layers?
I have layers. Like an onion. Like GOHUNT Maps.
Yeah, like GOHUNT Maps.
Has layers.
Remember
that back in the day?
Oh, yeah. That was a funny video.
Yeah. So I just have extra layers with me. So if I get cold, I just throw those layers on. They're just going to sit in my backpack. Why not use them?
What is the R value on the Uberlite?
I think it's a 2.3.
Yeah, I think it's 2.3, something like that. And then you get all the way up to like 5.
What's the next? I think the next one is the one I have. The
X-Lite.
The X-Lite.
And that's
a
less.
No, it's higher.
It's a 4.
Yeah, it's
4.2.
4.3, I think.
Okay.
Yeah, it's higher. It's actually pretty decent for what it is, but the Uberlite is lightweight.
And then the crazy thing is, too, as I thought you were going to mention, is why I carry the regular instead of the long.
Well, we can talk about that, too.
Again, I'm just crazy. And
you're a tall guy. You're 6'5"?
6'5".
Okay.
So I'm at even with the long, I'm at the max length of it.
Do you carry, is it the wide version, wide, short?
No, just regular.
Oh, my God, that thing is tiny, I bet.
It's totally fine. I'm a side sleeper, though. Okay. I am a side sleeper.
Oh, so you're pulling your legs up.
So I pull my legs up a little bit. So it does work for me. And again, I'm saving a little bit of weight. I have a stove. I just have to stoke it more. I'm going to be comfortable. I'm not going to
stoke it at night?
Yeah.
You do?
Mm-hmm. I try to load it up, and then I'm usually the person who wakes up and restokes it throughout the night because I just sleep right next to it.
So we get a lot of questions, I would say, about people that have never used the stove. I know I had a guy the other day reach out, and he's like, is this 15-degree bag really going to be enough for me if I've got a stove? And one of his questions was, how many times, what's it really like to sleep in a floorless shelter with a stove? As far as expectations of stoking that thing, and how do you burn that thing to get maximum heat and length?
When I'm trying to cook in the evening, I will get that thing red hot.
You cook on it?
No, I mean just cooking normally, with a jet boiler or whatever.
Just in the tent.
Gotcha. In the tent, that's cooking my food. and I'll just get that thing red hot to the point where all those coals on the bottom are just glowing.
Mm-hmm.
And then that way, every time I throw, no matter what type of wood it is, if it's a little bit wet, it's going to dry it up really quickly and just pump out lots of heat. So it gets to the point where like you're cracking the door a little bit because it's so hot in there before you go to sleep. And then since it's so hot in there, right when I'm about to ready to get to bed, I'll just start stacking wood in there a ton.
What kind of wood?
Anything I can find.
Really?
Yeah.
Sticks, twigs?
Twigs.
Do you carry a saw to like cut larger diameter
I
stuff?
carry that little silky F180 saw. So it's a little short saw, and I'm just usually cutting those. I think they're like 8 inches long, maybe 6 to 8 inches. And I try to find some of those bigger diameter ones for the evening because they'll hopefully burn a little bit slower, not as fast. But when you stack it all the way in there too, you got to make sure you adjust the baffle a little bit so it's not like just dumping heat right away and burning other wood. So I'll like close it down a little bit.
Your intake and your outtake.
Yep, on both the on the stove and on the pipe itself.
From my experience with using a stove, you're not going to be warm in the middle of the night. I promise you that.
It's not like you're in a wall tent and that baby can go all night.
The stove is nice for when you're awake. Let's say you have bad weather, you're out in the cold, you can go in there and you can be warm for 3 hours if you're awake. It's nice when you get up in the morning. It's nice when you go to bed. But like that stretch, that 7-hour stretch when you're like sleeping.
Yep.
It's cold.
And it's hard to wake up to, and then your hands are gonna be cold and you want to just keep sleeping. But it's like I might stoke it once at the night if I.
You might.
The only time
I usually don't.
Yeah,
No,
it's like it's not something you really want to be doing.
Me either.
I'd rather sleep.
I'm going to bed, so I'm the same way. Like I'll stoke that thing red hot when I get in there, and it's short sleeve weather when you get that thing running.
Africa hot.
I mean, it is hot. It gets hot. It's great though. You sit there, hang out with your buddy, eat your meal, and then typically just like you, I try to cut larger diameter stuff, shove it in there before I go to bed, and I would say 3 hours.
Yeah.
Is that what you guys is kind of?
Maybe a little bit less.
I was
Maybe
gonna
less.
say like
Yeah.
hour and a half.
But it's
2
like too,
hours.
like, and you won't ever expect to, if you just do it right away in the evening, you're not going to have hot coals in the morning to just like throw wood in there and get it going.
You have to
again.
restart.
You have to
that thing.
restart the whole thing and do your little sticks and pyro putty or Vaseline soaked cotton balls or.
I think a lot of people get confused. I mean, most people are familiar with like your typical wall tent stove.
Yeah, or your stove in your
Right.
basement,
Like,
your
Right.
fireplace.
If you have one in your house, like
Yeah.
those things are much more efficient at
Yep.
retaining heat and keeping a flame going a lot longer than these like ultra lightweight,
Yep.
super thin material, like Seek Outside stoves that.
And you got to remember too, the material that we use on these lightweight shelters does not hold heat in as well. Like any of the sil nylon stuff or
Yeah.
Dyneema, like that heat's just going right through that thing. It's not going to really stay in there like a canvas wall tent will.
So you can't expect to be warm, quote unquote warm all night. You
Yeah.
still need, which begs the question for me again, why the Uber light?
Because I've never woken up like, oh my gosh, my feet are so cold. Like I need that full length pad.
Mm-hmm.
Like I go to bed, I'll either pull off my socks and throw my like damp socks in the bottom of my sleeping bag so they get dry.
Mm-hmm.
But I've never thought like, oh, I need a full length pad because it's going to add anything to me. My body's never super cold.
Right.
And if I need to go to bed and just wear my down pants, sure. If I want to shove my down pants in my sleeping bag down there to add a little bit more insulation in the foot, like whatever. I have those things with. I might as well use them.
Gotcha.
You're basically giving like a little give and take with
Give and take
a
again.
little bit. You're bringing a stove.
Bring a
You
stove,
have
so I
some
got comfort
added
there.
weight. Yeah, you have some added weight somewhere else.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And it depends on the person, right? Like someone who's needs, like the cameraman we had on our New Mexico hunt, like he has to have the biggest sleeping pad possible. Like that's something that's super important to him.
Yeah.
So he has.
Different people.
But if you try it and it works, then
I'm fortunate enough, as most of you guys know, I can sleep on a rock and I'll fall asleep in 5 minutes.
Sleep anywhere.
Anywhere. Drive in the truck.
I just can't. So I got the Therm-A-Rest, the X-Lite, right?
Yeah.
And I bought a new one just so I had 2 of them.
Yep.
And I totally forgot that the first one I bought that I really like is a wide version. I got this one and I'm like, holy shit, this thing is tiny.
Yeah.
Like, that thing is tiny.
Yep.
Did it bug you?
It did.
Yeah.
I was like,
I like
it's
it wide enough for my shoulders, and like I can put my arms at my side, and if you put your arms right here, that my arms, back of my arms here, are still on the pad.
But then once it bugged me right at the bat, but once I slept on it, like I was trying to think of like, is this really making me sleep worse? Or like, I guess I couldn't really tell if it was making me It was more a perception of like this thing is tiny than
Yeah.
if it actually was affecting my sleep.
Right.
And then also, I don't know if you guys noticed on that Gearless video, I forgot to actually mention it, so I apologize to everyone. But you notice I didn't bring a pillow?
Mm-hmm.
You definitely bring a pillow, don't
Nope,
you?
I'm not bringing a pillow on these hunts. I'm avoiding it because I've realized
The pillow doesn't ever stay.
it doesn't ever stays. It always falls off.
It's all.
And so I'm always just either sleeping on my arm or sleeping on my clothes anyway. And yeah, it's only 2 ounces or 1.7 ounces. It's not like a lot to carry, but I never freaking use it because it always falls off my head.
I know some people do the old. I know in the Stone Glacier that hood is pretty big. You can like jam it in there and it sticks there. What I do is in that Sky Air ULT, I have it just positioned perfectly because that post is in the middle, but I have my pillow like on it,
Oh,
so
yeah.
like it doesn't slide because it's like stuck to that.
Yeah, I think another issue for me is I'm at the max length for the Stone Glacier Chilkoot.
Mm-hmm.
Like I think its max length is like 6'4",
Yeah.
and I'm 6'5", and so my body is so long. Even though I do say I sleep side sleep, but like I can't really get that pillow in there and get my head underneath there without something wanting to pop out. So I'm not bringing a pillow.
Yeah. I just recently quit using a pillow even at home.
What?
Yeah. I don't know. I was like,
Hard ass.
yeah, I was having like pain, like knots between my shoulder blades. And
See, oh yeah, you don't use a pillow in your bed.
Nope. I just flat.
I like your style. You're trying to get harder for the mountains.
I don't know. It's been better, to be honest. My back's felt better. I haven't had any issues between, any knots between my shoulders or anything like that. So I've been using one. So I might join you in the future. Just no
Yep.
pillow.
It does slide around a lot.
It does slide around unless you can fit it like in that top hood part.
Yeah.
Yeah, which
It's
those
kind of-
those little Sea Summit Aeros ultralights. I mean, they are kind of ergonomically shaped and they do fit kind of nice
Yeah,
there in
a
the
little
top
bit smaller.
top lid. But
What we're talking about the Seek Outside with stoves, should we touch on condensation real quick?
People thinking their tent's leaking.
Yeah, my gosh. People think their tents are leaking lately. And it's like I don't think a lot of people realize that these are single wall shelters. Any single wall shelter you use when you have condensation of breathing or snow on the ground or different weather conditions or where you pitch your tent is going to add condensation inside that single wall, especially when you have a stove and you have a bunch of wet gear and like while you're sleeping, the top part's going to be frozen in the morning, and then you start up that stove and you're going to have water kind of coming down the side of your shelter from just the condensation.
yeah, it just doesn't have that double wall. Double wall kind of trap that dead air space and kind of trap the moisture. Whereas a single wall, a floorless shelter, I don't really notice it unless I get like wide temperature swings and you have like a lot of moisture. So I would say like worst case scenario, you have a rainstorm in the afternoon and it's 80 degrees. It's a warm summer rainstorm and then cold nights.
Yep.
You wake up the next morning when the thing's going to be raining inside.
Yep. And then if you ever sleep in bed touch the side, it's going to go wet. And
Yep.
then you have to pack up everything later. Or your shelter's going to be super heavy the whole day because it's going to have all that condensation built inside there. But like, it's just something you kind of have to deal with and not maybe camp next to a lake or a little depression or find out like the rain things you can't really plan for. But I mean, that's why a lot of times when camping in the winter like this or late fall, it's clearing out all the snow underneath your shelter, trying to get that thing raging hot. So it's going to melt all that snow in there to try to get rid of some potential condensation. But you're always going to bring it in every time you go outside and come back in with your boots with snow. And I think it's just something you have to deal with. And I've told people before too, like a little tip is like bring a little ShamWow towel thing, like absorb all that stuff and it'll help a little bit. It's not going to solve everything, but or just lifting up the sides of your shelter and not keep them all the way down so it breathes a little bit more, you get more airflow in there.
Just kind of a necessary evil. It is,
yeah.
It's a give and take kind of thing, I think, with those floorless shelters.
So your gear list, Brady, you were going into this year, you're trying to cut some weight.
Cut a little bit of weight
So
here and
you
there.
went to the sleeping system.
Sleeping system.
Was the first spot?
First spot went there. Second spot is I ditched my Jetstream jacket.
Clothing. That's a big one.
Big one.
Everyone brings too much fucking clothes.
Yep.
I don't feel like.
I think that's who I got it from because, dude, when Charles does his gear list, he has like
Just like two upper layers or three upper layers. Yeah. So I started realizing that I love having that Jetstream because
Windbreaker.
it's a windbreaker and it's a workhorse of a layer. Like I can lean against rocks, I can brush against trees when I'm hiking and not tear up any of like my ultra lightweight down insulation pieces. But again, it's like 27 ounces.
Yeah, it's heavy.
It's a really heavy piece. And so this year after the Sika released that Ambient line, so I'm just going to remove that and carry the Ambient hoodie. And now I have two insulation pieces, Kelvin Light down and the Ambient hoodie. and I still have a heavyweight and a core lightweight. So I went from 4 layers to 4 layers, but that Jetstream is so much more heavy.
Yeah.
And now I have active insulation too, so I can actually wear that ambient hiking around. And it's a little bit more durable, I feel like, than just wearing the Kelvin light, because that'll tear if you brush it up against a tree branch, but it's a little bit more durable and just save a ton of ounces right there just by eliminating the Jetstream. Even though I know I might miss it, but I don't need a backpack with the Jetstream. Like if I was in a late season hunt where I'm truck hunting, yeah, I'm still gonna rock the Jetstream.
Yeah. Two things. I mean, for Sitka, that Ambient Hoodie and the Jetstream too, it's a brand new jacket. Both of those are new pieces for Sitka. The Jetstream obviously been around forever, but it's been updated.
Mm-hmm.
Both of those really solid pieces. I mean, I really like the update with the Jetstream jacket. Like, it fits better.
Yep.
It's a really, really nice jacket, but I'm with you. It's still a little bit heavy for me to justify packing on most backpack hunts. That Ambient Hoodie is warm. Man,
oh, it is.
That thing is so warm for the weight.
Yeah.
I took it with me to New Mexico, and I was kind of splitting it. Like, Neville killed a bull. We made it back to the truck, and, I ditched my heavyweight hoodie and took the Ambient, and, man, that thing is so warm.
Yeah.
Really warm.
Yeah, I'd never take outer shells. Like a
A soft shell?
Yeah.
The thing to me I think of is, I'm basically making one if I have like my rain jacket and then an insulation piece.
Yep.
Like that's essentially the same exact thing.
Mm-hmm.
So Brady,
I've always just had a hard time of like justifying bringing one. And when I did bring one, I'd never wear them.
Yeah.
Ever.
Yeah, like I said, the only time I ever really wore it is I sit down in glass and then I want to lean back on something or lean against a rock, and then sometimes I might just have a lightweight hoodie and then the Jetstream when I'm hiking around and just open the zips. But like I get hot in that because it's not really like breathing that well.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Where the new ambient line is going to breathe a lot better when I'm hiking around and still.
Do you run cold or do you run hot?
I have long extremities, so I get cold really easy.
Yeah.
I don't have a lot of body fat.
Trail's always cold.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sweating.
Yeah.
I run pretty hot.
And that's why you see too. Like I always wear I bring a lot of different gloves or mittens too, because my hands are way away from my heart.
Yeah, you had quite an array of gloves.
Yeah.
Gloves?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, how many gloves are you bringing?
I have my gunner gloves, which are like my utility gloves. I like hike around in or glass in, and then if it gets colder, I have the the blizzard mitts.
Mm-hmm.
And then I'm blanking on it. It's a Jetstream GTX, right? Or not Jetstream.
Glove?
It's the glove.
The Traverse glove?
No, it's the one that's like basically like a water shell on the outside. I'm just blanking on the name right now. But it has another liner on the inside.
3 pair, huh?
3 pairs.
You're not talking the Stormfront?
Stormfront. Yeah, sorry.
Yeah.
Yep, that's it.
I hate gloves.
I mean, I love them when it's cold.
No.
Mittens.
I just hardly ever wear them. I don't hunt that late, I guess, but when I get cold, it's like I'm in down mittens a lot.
Mm-hmm. That's why the down mittens are key. And I just like having multiple sets because, I don't know, I'm just crazy, but I can't ever seem to get rid of that.
Late season, I'll bring 2. I only bring mittens, though.
Yeah. I kind of like the idea.
In gloves.
I like the idea of maybe taking the Traverse glove and then maybe getting a set of like those wool mittens that Neville has that flip over that go from like mitten to glove. Like I bet that could be something.
Yeah, because I think of it the same way as you. Like I have one pair that's like a lot of functionality.
Yeah.
Like I can do shit with them.
Mm-hmm.
And that's when I use like those mitts because you can pull them up and your fingers are free.
Yeah.
And then for cold, I have like I think I have the Sitka ones too.
Yeah. And I just worry too. Like I'm going into some gnarly country that late season. Like if my hands get super cold, yeah, I can make a fire and that sort of thing. But like I just err on the side of caution a little bit when it dips into these temperatures I'm going to. Like last year in that deer hunt that we filmed, like that was freaking brutal. Like how cold that was. Like we were surviving for a long time. Like that's where it's nice to have that couple extra pieces here and there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
where I can't quite go ultralight. I would love to. Like I'd love to ditch more stuff, but like I have to be careful too.
What else are you cutting? What else did you look at?
How do you feel about long johns as a base layer?
I'm ditching them this year. I ditched them.
Yeah, I wondered that.
I ditched them and went with the older style, full Kelvin light insulation pants. Those like full length ones instead of the 3/4
synthetic. Mm-hmm.
Which they don't make anymore. But
yeah, mine melted.
Bye.
Thanks to a fire one time, but
yeah. So I ditched those. I did. Even though I say I'm ditching a bunch of stuff, I did add something. I did add the tarp this year.
Glassing
tarp, yeah.
What tarp?
I actually had Seek Outside make me a custom tarp.
Okay.
Which I don't know why they just don't make this all the time, but I had to make me a Dyneema DSD.
Gotcha.
Crazy stupid light. I just reached out to him. asked, and they're like, yeah, we could definitely do that. I haven't really thought about it too much, but it'll be a long wait period. And I was like, I am totally fine to wait, and paid for it. And
so you're going to take that in conjunction, in addition to your regular shelter?
Yep, that's what I'll use this to sit down and get out of the elements on some of these hunts that I know it's going to snow on me.
I noticed that you're packing a Kestrel.
Yep.
You use it? You do?
The wind meter?
Yeah.
Yep, use it a lot.
So you can justify packing that around?
Mm-hmm. I just use that a lot as like a backup dope chart solution and a way to grab wind and just practice a lot on wind stuff, because wind is everything when I'm taking these shots. Like, yeah, I would love a close range shot, and I'm not promoting shooting crazy, stupid long at deer, but I know with the tools I have, I lay down on my gun, have my SIG rangefinder, have my Kestrel, I get all that dope together, and they both are going to agree with each other, and I can measure the wind right there. Yeah, I'm only measuring it at my person. I don't know what the wind is doing way out there, but the more I practice shooting all the time, I can eventually look at terrain features or look where the wind's coming over a ridge, look at the wind where the deer is I'm going to shoot, and I kind of can input a little bit from the wind here and what I see out there, import that into my devices, and gives me the shooting solution I need to make a one-shot kill. That's one thing a lot of people get, bent out of shape about people who shoot whatever my distance it might be, but like
800 yards.
Yeah, I know exactly where I'm putting it. Like, yeah, today I always shoot at 800 yards out when I go to the rifle range, and it's just like I literally can put it on there every single time and be in the kill zone because I have these tools. But I have these tools and I know how to use them. Yes, you don't need these tools, and yes, it is fun getting closer to deer. But if I have an opportunity where it is windy, how do you know? What's your left or right going to be on a 20-mile-an-hour wind at 300 yards? Like, yeah, you could just say like, oh yeah, hold a foot over, but like, is that really what you should be doing? Is that going to make the best shot for you, or could I just measure that wind, import that in the device, tell me exactly what I need to do, and then I just dial and pull that trigger, and that deer's dead.
Bang, bang.
So it's like yes, it is an added weight, carrying some extra tools, and could I get rid of it? Yeah, but it's also just it's fun to be able to practice out there. Like, what's the wind doing today? Guess first and then check it out.
Yeah. No, I noticed that you packed that. I just wanted to ask because it's everything always that goes in your backpack's a justification, right? Is this thing worth carrying? Yeah.
And then the fun part is trail, which I never told people about. There's actually a game on there I can play if I get really bored.
Is there?
There's Snake. The game where like you just do the little snake thing around and hit the little apple or whatever. You can play Snake on there.
No kidding.
Love that game.
Kill time.
Yep, kill time. You can play a little game.
Did you change anything in your gear list? I feel like you bring the same shit every year.
Yeah, pretty much. What did I change? I would say like kind of as I was thinking about it, like things that jumped to interest is just like a new headlamp.
Oh.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I know.
Oh. Wow.
I know. Big deal, right?
Which one did you go with?
So I was hunting in Utah. My camera guy, Kyle, he does some work with Peaks.
Yep.
And he had an extra headlamp, and I had just my staple Black Diamond Storm that I've had forever. And I think we were doing some early morning hiking in red light, and the beam on that Peaks headlamp in red light.
Isn't it phenomenal?
It's so much better than anything I've ever seen from like Black Diamond or anybody else. So he had an extra one in the truck, so we moved, I think, like mid-hunt, and he was like, oh, here, try this headlamp out. So I used that for the rest of the hunt. But that thing was awesome.
It's baller.
Really
it's
good.
Bright, and it's cool custom settings, and you can recharge it.
Yeah, you can lock it. Rechargeable. I like the design of it. It's all metal. I mean, there's some small things that I would maybe do differently, but other than that, like, that thing was actually really, really good.
Mm-hmm.
What happened to that headlamp?
No.
Do you still have it?
No, I left it in New Mexico. I donated it.
So much for the new headlamp.
I got to buy a new one.
Got
it. Today.
Dang,
yeah, I donated it to, I set it down and walked off, which I have a bad habit of doing. That was the only thing that I did that this year.
Remember we were antelope hunting and left his rangefinder on the blind?
Unbelievable.
Well, I got that back.
You got that back,
yeah,
but so you set it down.
I have a bad habit of like leaving things periodically just throughout the...
Do you guys ever freak out when you're hiking? Like, you worry about that? I've hiked out a lot where I'm just all of a sudden I set down my backpack because I always think I forgot my headlamp. It's always my headlamp I'm assuming I left.
Mm-hmm.
So I had that happen in New Mexico. I thought I left my Inreach somewhere.
Ooh.
Because like you always pull it out and you're like, and I'm like, God, did I put that back in my backpack?
Speaking of Inreaches, what do you guys think about that new one?
I don't know. Mine's been sucking lately.
The Inreach Messenger, the new one.
Yeah, Neville and I had a discussion. We've been using our Inreaches quite a bit, and it feels like it's slower Much slower.
Should we use the analogy about how everyone thinks when new iPhones come out, they make the old ones a little bit less quality, so you have to upgrade?
That could be.
I think so too.
I wondered if it was just that many more people now on the network and they're using it, and like people are out hunting and there's more people recreating in the fall, so maybe there's more messages going up.
Well, these new ones too, they have new apps and everything as well.
Yeah. So like for people listening though, we have the Inreach Mini Original. Right. They have the Inreach. They have the Inreach Mini 2, which uses a different phone app, and I've heard it's way faster and way more intuitive how to navigate through and send messages even on the Inreach device.
And the new one now, it's just called the Messenger, right? And it's a puck essentially. Yep. Lacks the the screen of like you've seen of like an Explorer or Mini.
Yep.
But one in the press release package that I looked at, one of the little highlights said increased speed.
Yep.
Why is that one faster? Don't they all go to the same satellite?
I think the Explorer only accessed one satellite, and then the Mini was able to do 3 satellites. So I think as you upgrade through, they're somehow grabbing different satellites. They all run off the Iridium network.
I'm still using the old DeLorme SE.
Yeah,
I
still have that one.
I feel like mine's as quick as Neville's. I feel like mine might even be quicker than Neville's at times.
Really I know. Shit in the bed.
I know both of our Mini originals. Neville is super slow sending messages, and I've heard people who have the Mini 2, the upgraded one of ours, is faster. I don't know if I'm ever going to go to the Messenger. I think I might upgrade to the Mini 2.
I think I'm going to buy one.
The Messenger one?
Yeah, I think I'm due. I mean, I've had the one forever and ever. I mean, I bet I've had it for 8 or 9 years.
Did you see the other cool feature I really like? The safety feature.
Mm-mm.
So let's say your phone dies.
Oh.
And you can still send a preset message, but if you want to send a custom message and your phone dies, so maybe let someone know you're actually okay, or your preset message didn't have anything on there, you can actually plug your phone into the Messenger and it'll give enough battery charge, so then you can use your app to send a custom message if your phone dies.
Like BBD.
Yep.
Big
That's the best message I always love.
We got one
Neville
down.
sent me one of those in New Mexico, and I was like, hell yes.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, no, I think I'll probably update to that probably next year. But as far as like other things,
got a new headlamp. There wasn't
new headlamp. Phelps Metal Bugle too was awesome.
There wasn't like any category you're looking at, like your camp kitchen, your sleep system.
Man, I'm pretty like standard with it. You know what I mean? Tarp.
Sounds like you're stubborn.
I think we're all just
need to try some new stuff.
I try a lot of new stuff.
Liar.
I do. I just don't. A lot of it just doesn't stick. You know?
Don't like it, huh?
Yeah. I mean, I'm pretty basic, and I say basic, but I just mean the stuff that I use is the stuff that I've used and I liked because I think I know how to use it. Right. So tarp. Bivy sack, sleeping bag. I will say, like, I was super hot when I was in Utah. I took a 10-degree bag, which I've had some cold Septembers. I was sleeping on top of that at night. I mean, it was in the 70s at night, even at 9,000 feet. So, like, I could have got away with a quilt. But, I mean, I pretty much use the same stuff, same camp kitchen, same titanium pot, Soto Windmaster stove. I mean, there were some new clothing items I could note on. Like, I guess if I went down and, like, I named some of my favorites from this year, I would say Peaks headlamp, Fellraven Keb Agile pant. Like, I love that pant. That pant fits so good. I love that thing. I love those pants. So those, Sitka Ambient Hoodie would be another one. Stone Glacier's merino wool layers are awesome. Yeah, the Chinooks, the long sleeve top, and they also make it in short sleeve. I wore that a bunch and really, really liked it. And again, it was hot weather, so I wasn't really too worried about whether it drying super fast or not, but there's some at barking out.
I think she has to go to the bathroom.
Yeah, the old dog barking outside the door. But yeah, those pieces, other than that, I used a new release this year. So everything I've ever shot over probably the last 10 years, I've shot with a hinge release. This year I hunted with the new UltraView button, which I shot a thumb button, and I was able to shoot it well enough that I felt really confident with it. So still shooting, playing around with that thing. But like basics, pretty much same stuff, a lot of the same stuff.
Yeah. I think the only really thing I changed too, I saved roughly like 5.5 ounces by switching that handle off the VA5 head to that AZIAC carbon fiber handle.
And I also use the AZIAC bino adapter.
Yep. So that's the combo too, because I had the Vortex Pro adapter before, and that's heavy when you add an Arca Swiss plate on the bottom of it. So switching that off, you actually save weight. And again, it might be ounce here or there, but ounce here or there is going to add up to a lot of weight.
That probably saved me, I would say, 4 ounces.
Yeah,
Because I've been using the Leica Stable Light plate forever.
Yep.
And this little Asiac, it's essentially, for those of you listening, it's just a ring that goes around your binocular tube. It's got an Arca Swiss receiver on the bottom of it. It just slides right in. So there's not any need to attach a base plate or anything like that. It just slides right in. And that thing actually works really well. I like it a lot.
Me too. I'm going to really enjoy it. I've used it a little bit just glassing around here. Haven't used it on a hunt yet, but I'm stoked.
Yeah. Yeah, so that's a new piece. There's probably some other new pieces. I'm sure I'll think of them. But what about you?
I used a new shelter this year.
Oh.
Oh.
What do you got?
It's about the same weight, but what I was trying to fix was setup time.
Oh.
I was getting pissed about the just like setting up tents and like the pain of setting up stuff, and I just wanted to try something about the same weight, but it was easier to set up. So I had the Argoli, the new Argoli 2-person TV tent, which it is super easy to set up, no doubt about it. Before that I always used the Sky Air ULT tarp, which is like the 2-pole pitch, so it's a little bit trickier to set up, takes a little bit longer. But the good thing about that is you can put that damn thing about anywhere, right? You need a smaller area, and it's easier to do that. That's the only thing that's tricky with that Argoli one. I need to find a big flat spot.
Yeah.
I mean, you don't, but you like, it makes it easier to pitch. But
It looked like it had quite a bit of room in there.
yeah, super roomy, had more room.
What are you using for pole?
Yeah, I was gonna ask
I
that
just
as well.
use my trekking pole. That's definitely something you want to check. So it's like 54 inches is what that tent needs. So my trekking pole does.
Are you just pulling one of the legs out and sticking the other one in, or do you have one of those little adapters?
No, I just went straight up. It can go 54 inches.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Oh, just one pull.
One pull.
Oh,
yeah,
oh.
so it's just a one pull pitch. Super easy to pitch, super fast. And it's lightweight. It's just maybe a little over a pound. Super lightweight.
What are you using for a ground cloth?
I had the Stone Glacier one.
Oh, you just used your floor from your Sky Air?
No, they have a ground sheet.
Gotcha. Okay.
Which that thing is super light. That one. And then the other thing I always try to look at is my food.
Yeah, I was going to say that too. My food this year was the best I think I've ever had.
Because if you really do think about it, the heaviest thing you carry with you is your food.
Yeah.
That and your water are usually like your heaviest things that you carry with you. So every year I'm always trying to, I think it's kind of fun too. It's like messing around with some new stuff.
I got lazy this year and never really looked to research new food. I'm just carrying the exact same stuff I did last year.
Yeah, I'm trying to find dude, I had mine pretty damn good. Like it was just a little over a pound and it was like 2,800 calories.
Yeah, this is the most prepared I've been in a year for food. Like I never felt like I was hungry. I felt like, some days I had a little bit of rollover. Other days, I was eating everything. But like this is the best I've ever done with food. And I mean, for me, there are some things that are staples that I've used all the time. But I've been going to Whole Foods just in my local, because it's like the only place that's got some of these, geeky bars that it's the only place that carries them. But yeah, I've been trying a bunch of different bars and stuff. But
I'm trying to think what else. I had a new release. So I shot my elk with a hinge first time.
Oh, you did?
yeah, Ultra V hinge too.
Shot the hinge, huh?
Shot the hinge. Dude, I was watching, so we got the footage of that and I was watching it. Dude, I was at full draw for a while.
Yeah, I know.
When I stopped it,
Yeah, I remember.
I'm like, damn, I was sitting there for a while.
You're at full draw on that other bull for a lot longer.
Yeah.
2 minutes probably with a hinge. How was it to shoot a hinge for hunting?
It was great.
You felt good about it?
Yeah. Loved it. Actually,
no worries.
pulled it right back and actually
Execute a perfect shot.
aimed.
Made a great shot.
Aimed for a while. Shot it.
Yeah, he really did make a good shot, and it didn't go very far at all.
I did update my medical kit.
Gosh,
Did you? I didn't. You?
Neither did I. I mentioned on the video that I really need to.
Yeah,
I know you always do the same
mine's
thing.
pretty scary.
Yeah.
Mine's
I
like I'm
brought,
gonna die in the woods if I ever have anything major.
Yeah, I went through that. I hadn't done that in a couple of years, so went through that.
Yeah, I need to do that.
I think I want to add a tourniquet.
Yeah, me too. Yeah.
I got some of that. I bought some of that quick clot
Gotcha.
stuff. I added that in there. Just throw it at the bottom. But other than that, yeah, my big one usually every year where I feel like I can cut weight is like my shelter that I use or food.
Anything you changed in your clothing systems?
I mean, I always try to bring less. I try to bring
less clothes.
every year. I think a lot of that just comes with experience and knowing, like, all right, I never I mean, taking note of what you use, right? I think that's a big thing.
Yeah, because people laugh at you and I strategy a lot. We bring one pair of boxers for the entire hunt.
Yeah.
And like one pair
The
of
ones
socks.
you're wearing.
Yeah.
One pair of socks.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
my upper layers, I'm like 3-piece.
Yeah.
I have a bottom layer, like super active.
A base layer.
And then I have just like your kind of
Mid-weight.
mid-weight that goes over top. Then if I'm cold, I have a nice puffy.
Yep.
And then if it's wet, I have a rain jacket.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of I guess it's Stone Glacier. Some new stuff there that I used. The Keb, same with you. The Keb Agile pants are sick.
They are nice.
Those things are a real treat. Super comfortable.
Stretchy.
Side zips. And they have like, I also like so down by the end of the leg, the bottom of the leg, they have, it's like a little bit.
It's reinforced.
Yeah, the
reinforced
G1000
kick,
stuff.
Yeah, kick plate.
So you don't need
stuff.
gaiters. I'm over gaiters.
Oh, breaking my heart.
I saw I
love the
gators.
I saw in Brady's video. He's like Gators. It's July to August.
There's so many people that make
people
that make memes about gators, hating on people who wear them all the time.
I saw a lot
Late
of
season, I can see it making more sense.
Yeah, me too. I ran into some guys in Utah. Many. It's like mid 80s, low 90s during the day. Dudes are wearing Gators. I was like, oh man, I would be sweating. That's you though, Brady. You like the Gator?
I like the gator.
Yeah, too hot for me.
I mean, obviously, if it's an early season, I'm gonna wear a lighter gator. But I love gators.
Yeah, I think so. Most of us, it sounds like, besides trail, doesn't really change anything. But I think all
changed
of it,
stuff.
Yeah,
Yeah, I mean, we're pretty dialed though.
I think a lot of it too is if I'm trying to change anything, I'm trying to go lighter. I think I'm trying to get a little bit lighter.
You're trying to go crazy lightweight like I used to be. You can just go super.
Like if I'm usually weights. I mean, that's something I think about.
Yeah.
I don't think I noticed that much difference between 45 pounds and 55. Like it just feels about the same. After day 2 or 3, it feels like I probably couldn't tell you the difference. It just feels
I
like.
could.
Really?
That's 10 pounds.
Well, I know. I know, but on my back, I just don't feel like I notice it. It just feels like you kind of.
It's a compounding effect. So
It's like-
you're going to get tired faster. Is what that means.
The assumption is, but to me, like it just doesn't feel that much different. It just feels like you get used to it, you adapt to it, and you go. So like,
It's like 25%.
I think it makes sense to like cut where you can, but I also
Right.
think like I'm almost at a point now like where I err in some areas over functionality over weight.
Yeah. See, I'm like the opposite on Brady on sleep system. Like my sleeping pad, like sleep, like I'll.
Yeah, I'm packing a full.
Right.
I'm a 72
But like
inch
the way-
sleeping
the-
pad
yeah.
that's 25 inches
But then
wide.
the way I'm thinking about that is, if I'm going to bring a heavier sleep system, then I'll try to make something a little bit lighter.
Cut it somewhere else.
Yeah.
It's a balance.
It always
Life's
is.
a balance.
So let me ask you. What's more important to you, weight or functionality?
I think they're both important.
Is one way?
Well, it's like how you just said. It depends on.
I think it depends on the
Where like
season.
me, sleeping system functionality is important to me. Like
So-
having good sleep, that's more important to me than weight. But in a different
That's what
area,
I'm saying. Yeah.
it might be different.
So everybody's a little different, right?
Yeah.
Brady
Mhm.
obviously sleeps really well in the backcountry regardless of what he uses. So like for me, I don't think I could get away with a pad like you're using.
I could just sleep on the ground without a pad, honestly. No joke.
Yeah, I don't think I could do that. So I'm gonna pack some extra weight, extra length, extra wide pad, just to keep my shoulders up off the ground, and I'm gonna sleep better
Yeah.
because to me that matters more. It matters.
I do think. 55 pounds, 40 pounds, yeah. But it's some people that like don't pay attention anyway, and they're bringing like these huge ass packs.
Yeah, that's
Like
good.
I guarantee you, it's every cameraman we have in our hunt.
Yeah, they all.
They're all hauling around like 70 pounds and like whatever. The first day they're fine. Come like day 6, 7,
And
I can't even see them behind me.
That's where I think, though, like talking about this gear, it's important to create gear lists, to literally put it in a sheet. And yeah, it might be silly to weigh every single one of your items, but like it gives you a big picture of what you're actually carrying. And like that's why I love every year I always create these custom Excel sheets that I put in these articles for people to download and enter their own stuff in there. Every time you enter in your backpack section, your sleep system, your optics, your food, it automatically calculates the weight in these little pie charts. So helps you organize and plan all your gear. And it has a price section too. So if you're trying to save and make the ultimate gear list, you can add a little price and you can see what what your optics are costing, what your sleeping system costing, so you can like pros and cons for everything, trying to figure it out. But it's like, then you can start to look at, okay, this is my gear list this year, what I took. If I want to, and it weighed X, and next year maybe it was like too heavy last year, and I want to try to figure out where I can cut those ounces. Then you can start looking at each of those categories and having a pie chart design. You'd be like, well, my optics are 40% of my whole backpack weight. Like,
yeah, Brady.
I could cut a little bit there, and like start narrowing that down.
You could cut a lot there.
Yeah, and like not carry the BTX and carry the,
the little guy.
Little spotter. But like that's where that planning process comes in. You can see that big picture of everything you're carrying rather than just throwing everything in. It's like, whatever it is, I'm going to carry it because I'm strong and I'm a badass. And like just having that mentality, like, well, you could probably cut some ounces here or there and figure it out. Yeah, it might be an expense to upgrade to certain pieces from like a aluminum pot to a titanium pot or like that stuff. But like slowly you can start to figure that out. And by having that Excel sheet then too, it eliminates the need to forget items on hunts. Like we've all left on a hunt and forgot something. Like I think we forgot a bunch of stuff antelope hunting. Like we forgot chairs or whatever we did or something stupid like that.
You know what I need to throw in my pack? A small piece of rubber hose. Just tubing, rubber tubing.
For what? Tourniquet?
No, for like flowing water into a bottle. Because there's a lot of times where the stream or the seep isn't big enough that you can really get like a good flow to fill up a water bottle. So like a small piece of rubber hose. And that kind of leads into another thing is like I think I'm pretty much done with water bladders and Nalgene's in general. I'm just smart water bottles.
Smart water bottle is really great.
Dude, they're so light. They're tall. They don't take up a ton of space.
Like that's what I was even talking in that gearless video.
And they're weight. So the pain about water bladders, you always pulling that thing out and putting it back in is a real son of a bitch.
Yeah.
And then we've all had them explode or the hose comes undone and soak all your gear in the bottom of it.
That's my issue with them. Yeah, and if you get 3 of them, so you got 3 liters, you got 3 smart water bottles, the tall ones, you can kind of pull those out, fill one.
The only thing that benefits me having a bladder is I'm the type of person that doesn't drink a lot of water to begin with, so I have to force myself to drink, and having a bladder with a hose right next to me, it reminds me all the time like I can just drink. Whether I hate like reaching back and trying to grab it, because there's never any good water bottle holders out there. They all kind of suck. And
the other thing I'm done with is top lids.
Top lids. I'm over them.
You end up just throwing shit in there. You can't find it anymore, and it just gets all awkward. And
it's too tall. It's too. I just don't ever use. I don't like it. I just am done with it. You using one?
I still do.
For your what pack are you using? 7900.
Yeah, 7900 Sky Guide.
What do you put in it?
I put my ammo. I put my rear rest. I put my beanie. I put my headlamp. I put my ammo, and I'll put one of my pairs of gloves if I'm not wearing a pair of gloves up there.
Rain gear?
No, rain gear goes on the side.
Gotcha.
And then if it is raining out, I will put my camera up there, my Sony.
Gotcha.
So like it does a purpose, but I do hate that it gets a mess, and I'm not gonna put bags and organize my shit. That's just extra weight I want to put.
It's jumbled up in there. It always seems like it's sloshing around. It's tall. It's sloppy.
You can never cinch it to make it look pretty like you're supposed to. It always wants to fall backwards a little bit.
I'm just done with them.
But the only thing I like it though, what do you do when you have a rack on your back? You need to strap some. Do you carry extra straps?
I got it to work.
Yeah, I did too.
Yeah, just the elk system down then.
Just the top straps that go, like if you run that thing in Bivy mode on
a
Glacier pack, it's got 2 straps that would fold in.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I just wrap that around the antler and set it up on top. But yeah, I don't like a top lid. Done with those.
They flop around. Kind of annoying sometimes. I'm trying to think of what else I didn't like.
One thing I was going to ask Brady is about like your water treatment system.
Yep.
You have a SteriPen?
SteriPen now.
Filter also?
And then the platypus, whatever it's called.
Yeah, the straw type thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You bring a pump?
No.
Nope. It's
what do you mean? What's the filter?
It's like a gravity fed, like a micro filter.
Yeah, it's just it's not like it's like the Sawyer squeeze, but there's a platypus version.
Okay.
It's like the hyperflow, or I don't know what it's called.
You do that for what? I'm guessing sitting at camp, you have a bunch of water.
Yeah, I always have the drone light bag. So the drone light bag will be like my big water reservoir.
Because he goes into places that have no goddamn water.
So
when he gets water, he's getting like...
I have to get snow or just shit water.
He's getting like 5 gallons of it.
So you're using that to just filter out any stuff that's in the snow as you melt it? Gotcha. Yeah, I was curious as to why you're using that, not just a SteriPen by itself.
Yeah. I like having a backup.
Yeah.
And I like the drops before, but sometimes I feel like the drops they're not like freezing. I don't think drops can freeze. But I've had drops for a year, and all of a sudden I bust it out, and it's not expired or anything, but there's like milky.
Milky.
It's like you
Drink
can't
it.
you can't use it anymore. It's like heavy
Straightens
particles
them
are
out.
in there, so it's not squeezing out. I'm like, is that actually working? And so I've had a little bit of like doubt about those drops, and they're just.
No doubt in the drops, dude.
I know. I
They
love the
never
drops,
fail
but on
me.
these late season hunts where it's super cold, I feel like there's something that's happening with those drops. They're getting so cold that they're just not quite functioning anymore.
I've never had those fail. Like I've never been sick. I will say I had some times in Utah where I was annoyed that I had to wait
Yeah.
because I just was out of water.
And that's why I had the StereoPen Ultralight.
Yeah, I think that probably will be an upgrade for me.
I think it's
is
a
the
great piece of
StereoPen.
gear, and you can
Stereopens
charge
are
it.
Nice.
And then the only thing
The thing is that sucks for you though. Those you're gonna need a bigger water bottle.
Yeah, I thought about that.
you get that one that has a little bigger top, so you can stick that in there.
That's what sucks about the Smart. They're
Yeah,
they're
little.
too thin, and then when it comes to like scooping up water, it's a pain.
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah, they're a little big at the top.
They should do really big at the top and then super narrow at the bottom.
We should create our own bottle.
Yeah, I mean there were two things that my camera guy when I was in Utah that he had. One, he had like a metal, like a hydro flask bottle, but then he had like a filter. It was like essentially just like a coffee filter, very small, that he could just pour water through, and it filtered out a lot of the material in it, right? So he wasn't filtering; he was just doing StereoPen and then this little, it's almost like cheesecloth, right? So he was using that. That was pretty handy because he would use that, and I was using his equipment, so I was pouring it into my bottles. And then the other thing that he brought that was super handy, I wished I had, was a head net.
Oh, for the bugs?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, which I never really think about, but like that early season.
You didn't bring one to Alaska?
No, because we were late. I mean, we got snowed on up there. Pretty much everything was dead and gone by then as far as bugs go. But yeah, like just the flies were so bad. It was so hot. You couldn't even take a nap midday. It was just 90 degrees and flies
There's
everywhere.
nothing worse than taking a nap and having flies keep going up your nose and your mouth.
You can't do it. But yeah, he's sitting over there with a head net. So I think maybe for those early season hunts, I'm going to think about throwing in a head net.
And then
Do you guys get all these haters commenting on your videos as I get, or is it just me?
no, dude, they just like torching you.
What are you getting?
I get a
They
lot.
always make fun of Brady.
I don't know if I do or not. Do I?
They say they usually the number one comment's like, you guys like to run a lot of gear.
Oh, yeah. I try not to say that.
Yeah, that one. I made fun of that one in my last video, making fun of myself, basically. But I think I get more haters on, like, just hating the quality of gear that I use, or that certain pieces, like, no one can afford what you guys have, or...
Yeah, I've
like-
had that. I've had people, I mean, obviously, whoever that dude's meme page is, said, like, oh, Terrell sleeps in $1,000 sleeping bags. And, you know, I don't. But if they made one that was $1,000 and it weighed a pound, and it kept me warm to 10 degrees, I'd probably buy it.
Yeah.
But I do think that there's pieces of equipment that are like, can justify a high cost. And I think a sleeping bag's one of those. I mean, I don't mind paying $650 for a sleeping bag that I'm going to have for 30 years. Doesn't make, I don't care. Same with optics.
Yeah. It always kind of makes me, like, I understand where they're coming from, but I don't think a lot of people realize that, like, every person is different, what their passions are. Yes, I work in a hunting industry.
You don't have like a sick sneaker collection at home?
No. Like, you guys all know me, how I'm going to go on the rant right now. Like, I don't, everyone comes here like, where's a good restaurant to go to? I don't know. I don't eat out. People ask me to go eat here. I don't go to lunch. I don't go to dinner. I don't do things on the weekend. I don't go to bars.
Builds bullets.
I just build bullets
That's it.
and eat mule deer meat literally every single night. Like, my fridge right now, you open it up, it looks like, I live a bachelor life because I have nothing in there.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just like, my passion is hunting and hunting only. I don't have toys. I don't have a bunch of random side-by-sides and new truck every single year. And all my money goes into hunting, and just like,
Yeah.
why should I get hated on, in a sense, for something I'm so passionate about? And I understand, like, people just think it's different.
Your
but, like,
gear list is $20,000.
Probably is. Probably more.
Best
Yeah.
$20,000 I ever spent.
yeah, because like, the way I hunt is different than maybe most, and it's like, some of the gear specialized. Yeah, I could kill with a lot less. Yeah, I could kill with a lot more. But it's like, it's what I do and what I love, and it's like, why do some, like, it comes and goes with the amount of hate I get. And so people are like, oh yeah, what's the real purpose of this gear list? Like, what are the underlining, like, what are you really trying to solve here? Like, yeah, I'm not trying to, like, sell a bunch of gear for the gear shop. I'm literally trying to showcase what works for me and what doesn't work for me. Like, I've literally backpacked my whole life. I used to backpack every single day when I had a fisheries biologist job.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that was literally my whole job, was a backpack. So I got really good at figuring out what worked and what didn't, narrowing down my stuff, buying certain gear at certain times of my life, and just upgrading when I need to, and slowly knowing what works and what doesn't work. Like, It's what I do, what I love. So it's like, it's kind of funny how we get that a lot.
Yeah, I mean, it goes down to what you value, right? I mean, if you value, sneaker collections or a new car or a truck or, whatever it is that you value and you spend your money on, then great. But, and again, I mean, in my opinion, I'm fortunate enough to work where I work. It probably stems from a whole bunch of years that I put into these types of endeavors like hunting, backpacking, on my own, that then led to the opportunities which I'm currently residing in, in this job. But, I get given stuff, there's equipment I get given, which is great. I'm grateful for it. And some of it I love, some of it, probably isn't going to make it into my pack, but I mean, it just is what it is. Everybody has a job, right? And the thing that they do, the thing that they're passionate about, sometimes you get rewarded for those types of things. So, And again, I agree. I mean, are we trying to sell gear with these gear lists? Maybe a little, I mean, but it's also, we're trying to highlight things that we like and we use and we find, useful.
And I can help someone in any little way by they find one little piece that they never thought about using, or maybe your guys' food list, like how to cut weight on the food list, like that's a win for them. And it's like, you're just giving them all your experiences, your failures that we've all had before, and just to make what our list, what we think is what works well for us. You can use a million different things. You can use whatever clothes you want, whatever boots you want, but like there's similar things you could take from every one of us. Like all our gear lists are different if you look at them. Yeah. But like they all serve us really well because they're just customized to us.
Yeah, I'm definitely not trying to suggest anything to people that I don't think that they, that would potentially help them. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm not trying to, make a quick buck or anything like that. I mean, I'm just telling you what I use and why I use it. And, hunting's important to me. I mean, the guys here, Porter, Lorenzo, those guys call me a quote unquote lifestyle guy, right? Like hunting it's like what I want to do.
Yep.
I really like it. And all my equipment is part of that process. I geek out on it, and I don't have any trouble pouring money and time and effort into it.
Freaking love gear.
If you do want to check out our gear list, they're probably have them all in articles.
Yep, I have them all in articles too.
They're actually on our shop website as well.
Yep. Articles are pretty sick because you can click between the individual categories. So if you only want clothing systems, you just click that tab and you'll see just clothing.
Yeah, and we have collections in the shop, our gear list, collections that have all the stuff that we carry. Most of it, not all of it, but.
It's nice too. Like I like to even just look back at like what you guys are carrying every year. Like I even, like you said, you watched my gear list video. It's fun just to.
I'm curious.
Yeah, it's fun just to watch, and I like hearing how you explain things because like I always laugh when I hear Neville talk about like we're just a bunch of like dirty little hippies wearing the same underwear every single day. It's like it just.
Whoa! I didn't say that.
Yeah.
Yes, you did.
Yeah, you did. You said like you're a dirty boy.
Yeah, dirty.
But it's like
I bring one pair of underwear but 2 pair of socks.
I don't do that. It's silly.
Me either.
I guess in my late season hunts I have a liner sock and a thicker sock, but like
there's nothing worse than wet socks.
You just wear them in your bag every night and they dry out.
What do you guys do with your gear like before a hunt? Are you like pre-storing it, or are you just going the crazy like that week, like getting everything ready, or do you already have it dialed in a tote and it's ready to go?
I have an equipment room in my basement, and then I have another closet that's right off of that. And I keep all of my camping equipment in that closet, so all my sleeping bags, pads, those kinds of things, stove, go in that one. And then my equipment room has like my backpacks, has all my archery tackle and everything like that. And then I've got some drawers set up where I've got, like miscellaneous gear, batteries and whatnot. And I'll typically like run through, I know you guys like to lay yours out. Typically what I'll do is I'll pull, my computer up and I'll pull up my gear list and I'll run down through it and I'll just kind of put everything together. Yeah. And I usually do it maybe 2 days before, and then I'll just sit and look at it, make sure I've got everything. If I don't, I make note of it and try to add it.
Yeah, I have all my stuff besides my pack, like in my sleeping bag because I have that out. But yeah, I have a tote that's just like pure backcountry. Yep. Like I could literally grab that tote, throw it in my truck, and have everything I need.
Yep.
Keep it pretty quick.
That's what I've been doing a lot more. Because I've used to I do take out some of my clothes and hang them, but all my essential gear like stoves and water filters and water bags and whatever it may be, like knives are all in the same tote, and they're still can't pull out bag, and everything's kind of always ready in case I need it.
One thing we talked about when we were in New Mexico is how much do you bring for backup? like in your truck?
Yeah.
Do you bring extra gear?
Yeah, I bring a lot of extra gear.
What types of things do you bring and like leave in your truck? Just
Mainly,
in case.
a lot of gear I bring is I'll bring an extra pair of socks or pair of boxers. I'll bring a different pair of pants. So let's say my hunt is a late season hunt. All of a sudden the temperature's a lot warmer than I thought they were going to be. We're going back to either change camp, move spots. I'll just switch to a different pair of pants.
Yeah.
What did I mention? Fuel canister.
Yeah.
A lot of extra food.
Extra sleeping pad?
Nope, no sleeping pad.
Yeah, I always do that.
That's a good thing I should probably look at.
I always actually I typically have an extra sleeping bag and an extra sleeping pad in my truck. That way that like for example, we came home from New Mexico. I had everything in my backpack. I didn't want to unpack my backpack, so I just have an extra pad and a bag that I can just pull off on the BLM, throw that out on the ground, and I sleep.
That's so great. Because all my stuff when I leave is already packed in my backpack, so it's like I'm not going to be able to get my sleeping bag out, I'm not going to be able to sleep in the pad. And I don't like sleeping in my truck because I feel like I injure myself somehow by sleeping in my truck, get cramped. One thing I fail at every single time on these hunts is storing a bunch of extra water.
I always bring extra water.
Like, and not just water too. Like, I need to throw some Gatorade in there, or so. Like, I don't drink pop at all, but like, it might be nice to have something dirty when I get back there to enjoy.
Yeah, like I brought 2 cases of water. I brought, I guess we had 3 gallons of extra water. So and there wasn't a lot of water, we found out. Like where we were hunting in New Mexico, like all the water was way down the bottom.
Yep.
So we were making trips a couple times back to the truck because it was closer to go back to the truck than it was to go to the bottom and lose all the elevation. So we were actually just able to get water in the truck. So I always do that. I always have water in the truck.
Yeah, it's always good to have some extra stuff in the truck. Clothes, food,
extra food,
water.
The problem with my food too is I only have extra backpacking food. I again don't have that like dirty bag of chips or chips and salsa. It's like I always forget
Twizzlers.
That. Gross.
Twizzlers. What? Twizzlers are fantastic.
I don't like Twizzlers.
You guys are weird.
Like, I think it's good to have just an assortment of stuff back at the truck in case you need it. Yeah, you don't want to have doubles of everything, but just like something a little extra that you might burn while you're up there.
Extra release.
Yep.
I fell on my bow.
Trill fell.
Hard.
With a full backpack of meat.
100 pounds of meat on my back.
Were you nervous with your bow? Or did you come back
I
and
was
shoot
pretty
it?
nervous. Yeah, we shot
Trill
it.
was crying.
You always have a target?
My bow. I'm like, dude, your bow's fine.
Yeah, I fell right on it, right on my back.
It's that mental side, though.
Show us your bruise.
It's pretty good. It runs pretty much the length of my inner thigh. I ran that back bar right on the inside of my thigh. And it went clear up. It hurt. But yeah, I found out I got back to the truck, the Allen wrench that I had for my back bar was actually too large. Like grabbed the wrong Allen wrench. So Neville had a backup Allen wrench. So I was able to
Allen wrenches are a good thing. Extra arrows, extra ammo.
I always carry some extra arrows. I mean,
target.
Yeah. I've told this story before, I think, but like I went on a New Mexico antelope hunt. My dad stepped out at a gas station, grabbed my quiver of arrows, 5 broadheads, leaned it up against the tire while he was trying to grab something from his backpack. We drove off and left. So no broadheads, no arrows. But
ouch.
And I was probably 5 hours, called them. Nope, haven't seen it, So, but I did have extra. I had extra 4 arrows in my truck just for practice, and I had some broadheads. So, yeah, just like, I don't know, extras. It's always good to have like some extra type, equipment just to
for sure
help you out.
Well, let's go hunting.
What do we got next? Brady's just getting ready to kick it off.
Brady hasn't started yet.
I'm just getting ready to go wild.
You're dying to go?
Yeah, I'm itching. You guys have literally done so much cool things. So many cool things this year.
We got to hold the fort down while you're gone.
Yeah,
now it's our turn, right?
Your turn.
Yeah.
I'm just not going to get any of my work done. Let's leave it all on you guys.
There you go.
Don't give it to me. I don't want it.
You don't want it? You don't want to build my articles? You don't want to build my articles anymore like you used to?
When do you leave?
14th of October.
Good.
I'll be gone for quite a while. I got 3 deer tags to go fill, so I'm gonna
14th. I think I'm gone then too.
Yeah, give me a pound.
I'll be in your neighborhood. I think.
Heck yes.
If you need help, let me know.
Same. Maybe I should update my Inreach before then, so we can actually communicate together.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Good luck messing each other, boys.
Yeah. Deer hunts, man. I'm excited.
Once out, she says.
Yeah. All right. Anything else you guys want to talk about gear wise?
I think we covered a lot of it. That was a good one. I mean, just the importance of gear lists and getting your gear organized ahead of time and just running through, figuring out holes in your gear. And I don't know. We don't need to change a lot every year. I mean, it's expensive to change a lot, but use what works.
Know what works and what doesn't work after the hunt.
Yeah.
Yeah, assess it.
Mm-hmm.
You should be good to go.
And when you get back from a hunt, don't leave your tent or sleeping bag
Dry
compressed.
out,
Dry
clean
that
it.
stuff out. We don't want moldy stuff.
Go to our YouTube, watch our gear list videos.
Yeah.
Check it out.
Peace.
Peace.
Deuces.